Congresswoman Debbie Lesko. Congresswoman, it's great to see you again. The world knows and understands that Biden is weak and not in control. It's a dangerous signal to be sending to both allies and enemies alike, right?
It is, and I liked your segue into this so far when you showed all of the bumbles that President Biden has been doing. I mean, he's been in office for 5 months, and we're in crisis after crisis. I mean, his policies have made the Middle East crisis worse. Now we have all kinds of fighting between Israel and the Palestinians and Hamas and Israel, worse than it's been in years. Inflation is going through the roof. There's gas lines. Gasoline prices are going up. I mean, the border is just a total crisis. People in Arizona are very concerned because ICE isn't even tracking these illegal immigrants, who they are, where they're going. Drugs, illegal drugs trafficking is going through the roof. It's a mess. This guy is a mess.
Yeah, he and his political party. You know, I want to expand on where we started. You know, peace was breaking out during President Trump's term. President Trump leaves. Joe Biden has been in office for over 4 months, and the Middle East is now at the brink of war. Former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo says Biden is to blame, and I think that's fair. What about you?
I agree with Pompeo. I mean, my goodness, all the great things, the progress that President Trump was making in the Middle East. He had all kinds of countries in the Middle East agreeing with Israel, siding with Israel, the Abraham Accords. And now it's total chaos, total war, fighting. And then you've got these liberals here in Congress like AOC, Tlaib, and them that are siding with terrorists. I mean, this is outrageous. And I'm so glad that your organization and others are pointing out the craziness that the Democrats and Biden administration are doing. I mean, for goodness sakes, they're going to ruin our country if we don't stop them.
Yeah, the anti-Semitism of the Democrat Socialist Party, I wish I could be the first one to say that I recognized it, but it was a lifelong Democrat, Professor Alan Dershowitz, who has been crying out for years now, this insidious vein of anti-Semitism that is only growing and is now welcomed in Joe Biden's Democrat Socialist Party. I want to shift to the crisis back here at home at the border. You made mention of this already. ICE admitting they're not tracking illegal aliens. They're just letting them loose, and they're telling the American people, hey, you have no right to know. We just have to foot the bill for all this lawlessness. Congresswoman, how do we stop this?
Well, ultimately, we have to elect people that care about border security. But in the meantime, we just have to keep asking the Biden administration to do something. Clearly, they're not. I mean, he appointed Kamala Harris to be his border czar for border security. She hasn't even shown up at the southern border. I mean, how can you be a border czar and solve a border crisis, or as they call it, a challenge, if you don't even show up to the border, for goodness sakes? This is a joke. These people want open borders. Biden, Kamala Harris, the Democrats. The only reason I can think of is that they want more future voters. They think these people are going to vote for them or something, because why else would you do that? Then you have in Gila Bend, Arizona, which is a small town, right, of I think 2,000 people. That's 80 miles north of the border in Arizona. They drop off illegal immigrants there, some kids in the park. The place doesn't even have a place for their own citizens, let alone illegal immigrants to stay. So the mayor had to borrow vans to drive them to Phoenix. This is insane. Wow. And then you have drugs, fentanyl seizures going way up. I mean, this is a mess. Biden is fastly ruining our country.
Yeah, meanwhile, in your state, what the hell is going on in Maricopa County? Officials there are refusing to provide routers and passwords to election auditors. In response, the Arizona Senate is saying, well, you know, we might just expand this audit to all races. What is your take on this audit, and why there seems to be so many Democrats in that state of Arizona who are doing everything they can to stop the audit?
Well, I don't know all the details of what's going on over there, but I know that there's good people on both sides that I've worked with. I mean, the Senate President, Karen Fann, I've known her for years. She's a very common sense, reasonable person. And so I feel she must feel justified that there's a reason to do this election audit and to ask for the things that she's asking for from the county supervisors. Now, on the other side, I know some of these county supervisors, and I've always found them to be reasonable people. So I don't know what's going to come of it, but I hope what comes out of it is we have an answer. Was there fraud? Were there massive irregularities in election? And how do we correct it for the future?
Amen to that. All right. Biden killed the Keystone XL Pipeline, as you know, and he killed thousands of American jobs. But now he's clearing the way for the Russians to lay a pipeline, the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, Russia and Germany. Now, isn't it odd from Democrats who have been pretending to oppose Russia for the last 4 years? And why is Biden and his Democrat Socialist Party working so hard to create economic prosperity and jobs in Russia while they're doing the exact opposite in the United States?
Yeah, Biden and the Democrats seem to want to put America last. And this is a case in point. So they closed down a pipeline that provides American jobs and will continue to provide American jobs. So all those people are laid off. We lose thousands of jobs there, but yet he's going to help the Russians. I was in Judiciary Committee during the first impeachment, and all the Democrats talked about was Russia, 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 Russia. That President Trump was somehow colluding with Russia. Give me a break. He's the one that said, no, we're not going to do this pipeline to help Russia. And here you have Biden, the hypocrisy of it all. It's unbelievable.
Well, you know what? The chutzpah, and the reason why they get away with it is we have a corrupt and biased press in this country that knows no shame. Congresswoman Debbie Lesko, appreciate the time here on the Salcedo Show. We'll talk again. Biden administration claims